stay here very quickly. But in the meantime, you'll have to sell it for me. Questions?
Any questions?
What do you think the impact of the tour has been when it first opened?
Well, I think among other things, it really has ratcheted up the intensity between the two guys. You know, before the tour, they had never met face to face, and I think the initial meeting was, you know, business. The second meeting became more personal and more heated. So I sense a lot more intensity, and I think what it has also done is demonstrated the incredible enthusiasm, you know, for this event. It's surpassed even our most optimistic projections. We would have loved to have done a half dozen more cities. Unfortunately, training schedule and the calendar didn't permit, but certainly there was capacity and demand for more.
Did you guys ever officially announce what the date was?
We did, correct?
We confirmed it, yeah.
Yeah, $89.95. Some distributors add the $10 for HD, so it's essentially the same price as Mayweather Pacquiao.
The SRP is $89.95.
Yes.
You also worked at Mayweather Pacquiao. How do you see this fight tracking both pay-per-view and gate-wise versus that fight at the same juncture?
There's really no comparison. You know, from everything from website traffic to, you know, you guys see your own traffic on the stories you write to the demand at the tour stops. Now, we didn't do a tour on Mayweather Pacquiao, but we can judge by the number of media requests. And I don't know that it transfers to buys, but certainly the media demand and the audience demand has been, you know, has been noticeably higher, more significant than Mayweather Pacquiao.
Do you have any plans to, Showtime, how you plans to combat piracy, which I'm sure could potentially be an all-time high if they're allowed?
Definitely. We were very aggressive with Mayweather Pacquiao and pursuing piracy. We're still finalizing our plans, but UFC has a particular strategy. We're going to incorporate that. We're going to be very aggressive, you know, particularly with you know the more recent technical platforms, and you know that plan will be rolling out, you know, actually weeks before the fight.
I've heard of a system where you try to film a fight on TV, Facebook Live, and they tell you, we'll make your screen red and direct suspension. Is that one of the ways?
There's a range of different fingerprinting technologies. Obviously, that's an issue with Facebook and with others. So we're definitely exploring all of those options.
Stephen, have you and Conor spoke after his rant yesterday?
We have not. He got in the car pretty quickly afterwards. So no. The next time I'll see him will be the first time since our little exchange on stage.
How do you think it'll be when you speak?
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. That exchange took me a little by surprise. There's some speculation that, you know, it was planned or expected. I can tell you with, you know, all candor, it was not. You know, I'm not used to being in the middle of pay-per-view promotion, certainly not in that sense. And I have no desire to really insert myself into it, but Conor has inserted me, and the chips will fall where they may.
To your credit, you seem to react well to a funny moment, but we know Larry Merchant had his famous moment to Floyd in response. Do you have any regrets of not kind of firing back in the moment to him?
No, at this point, no. Again, I think it's, you know, typically I'd like to think that I'll take the high road most of the time. Having said that, I've got a temper just like anyone else, and we'll see. It's been a long couple days already.
Steve, did Les Moonves call you after that? Because he's well known to the public. You're a TV exec who's not as well known, so you're getting Moonves territory. I wonder if he cut.
Yeah, I've got a way to go before I'm in Moonves territory. He and I and other senior execs have been. He's been watching it closely. He's in Sun Valley at the conference, but he's definitely checking in on the press tour. He's excited about the event as well.
What exactly is in the contract, or what exactly is in the contract for if McGregor does any MMA moves? There's been talk about it, but there's nothing official stated what exactly happens.
I think early on it was confirmed that there is a significant penalty. I know the details are going to remain confidential, but there is a significant penalty in the event of what what I'll describe as sort of an extreme foul. You know, something out of the ordinary beyond what would be a normal quote-unquote boxing foul. I'm not sure how it's structured, but it was enough to be a significant disincentive to doing something like that.
I have a question over here.
Oh,
Yeah. Has there, at any of the meetings, has there been a talk about a rematch clause yet?
there's not. There is no rematch clause. There was talk of it early on. Neither side had any particular interest.
Are you at all concerned about some of the profanity and use of other words that has been so? I mean, you got this thing on every platform, you got kids, you got women, you got people who really might be looking at this at the first time, hearing a lot of things that maybe turning the stomach.
You know, there's been some points where, you know, yeah, it became a little bit uncomfortable. I don't have kids, but I can imagine, you know, that would be alarming. Having said that, you know, if you know anything about the two guys, you know that they're, you know, this isn't WWE. It's not family friendly. You know, do I condone all of the language? No, but at the same time, this is combat sports, and you know, tempers are flaring. It's getting heated, and it is very authentic and off the cuff. And I don't excuse it, but I certainly understand where it comes from.
Steve, do you get the impression, right? You just said it's, it's a real sort of fire between these guys. I kind of get the impression when I guess I'm watching the interaction between Floyd and Conor that it was kind of like with the weight. I kind of got the feeling that they kind of like each other more. Like that Floyd appreciates what Conor is bringing, and Conor the same way.
Well,
you get that feeling?
there's two aspects of it, you know, and Floyd's actually been relatively vocal. You know, you follow Floyd closely. Floyd has given, you know, Conor more credit than he typically gives an opponent, and I think it's largely because he's dealing with an opponent that brings a lot to the table, business-wise and market-wise. So I think there's a level of respect for how he's built his audience and what he's delivering to this promotion. But there's also a level of disrespect and a level of animosity that has been building. And you can't, I think, again, you follow Floyd, he has mellowed over the years. He's, you know, he's not the trash talker that he was, you know, 5-10 years ago. But I think halfway through Conor's stand-up comedy routine in Los Angeles, you know, he dug down deep and he said, look, I'm not gonna let this pass without comment.
The undercard for Mayweather Pacquiao was pretty deep, but I know that Showtime doesn't have control of that and stuff, and that was also a co-agreement with HBO. How much will you push to make sure that the undercard here is kind of going to help Showtime's future fight cards and get some exposure on this once in a lifetime problem?
Well, you know, I'm really happy that Tank Davis is on the undercard. He is, I think, one of the most entertaining, exciting young fighters in the sport, and he's also one of Floyd's. So I think he will be matched well, and I think that's a great opportunity for him. And I think it's a fight that, you know, casual fans and MMA fans will appreciate. The last I heard, there's going to be plans for at least one more title fight, and we're looking at an opening fight that should be, you know, should provide action. So I think there's a conscious desire to make this something that is satisfying to the boxing fans, knowing that there is some backlash among the boxing hardcore.
How you doing, Stephen? This is right here to your right. My question to you is, will there be an all access the Mac Life versus the Life? And if so, how many episodes? Because we're about 42 days away from the fight.
42 days. So there will be an all access. It does premiere on July 28th. So it'll be July 28th and 3 Fridays following that, 10 p.m. on the 28th. And I believe Conor's crew he's got a separate crew that's also doing Mac Live, and Floyd's got a separate crew that handles his sort of in-house production. So there's not going to be any shortage of a sort of preview behind the scenes material between those three groups.
Okay, so my question is, so Floyd is going to be doing his Showtime All Access, and then Conor McGregor is going to be doing something.
No,
I guess
we're actually, Conor is participating in All Access as well.
But there's also going to be something for the UFC on Fox Sports, I guess.
They're doing a range of different programming there as well, and they're also doing an embedded, which they'll announce the plans of that, but that's typically a fight week digital production. So the plan is, much like the fight, both entities, as between Showtime and UFC, bring things to the table and have strengths, and the goal is to combine those two.
There are other programming elements for the fight and fight week that we'll get to after we get through press tour. We know that there are some things swirling around, not everything's locked down. We'll make a big announcement about all the programming and a number of networks that are involved working together to televise stuff before the pay-per-view.
David,
4 episodes. 28th, the night before, Friday night.
Any chance we'll see Bobby Jack on the undercard?
It's something that, Floyd, sort of mentioned. He's been working toward it, and it's very possible. I know that's someone who's come up often, but not confirmed like Tank Davis is.
I do, Stephen Michael O'Regan from the Irish News. Why are we going to London tomorrow and not Ireland?
It's a question that I've gotten quite a bit. My understanding is really.
Floyd afraid?
No,
Are you afraid?
It has more to do. With really the media center, and regardless of whether it's who the UK broadcaster is, they're going to be London based. So it's one of the areas that probably commerce and business takes a little priority over that. I think if we had done 6 or 8, we probably would have done a Vegas stop and would have done a stop in Dublin.
Yeah.
But the bang for the buck, Toronto and London represent sort of major media centers.
Okay, thank you.
Along those lines, some of the questions, how does boxing benefit, this is a boxing match, how does boxing benefit from all the attention from this and take it into, the next year or try to help the sport overall?
It's a good question, and it's a challenge, to be honest, because this is we'll call it, at least for now, a once in a lifetime event. There had been speculation of whether this is going to become par for the course. I don't think a fight like this would have happened without the two personalities at issue. If you go back, there was a fight of, I think Silva was rumored to be fighting Roy Jones a while back, and that fight would probably have been easier to make at that point, but I just don't think it had the personalities to support it. So I think, like most Mayweather fights, there will be a large amount of viewers who haven't experienced boxing regularly before. So that's where the undercard does come in, and the presentation does come in, and making this an enjoyable presentation when we have a lot of new viewers under the tent.
Just a couple more.
Given the backlash of how boring Mayweather Pacquiao was and all people that complained, how important is it that Mayweather, knock McGregor out, given how much of a mismatch this is viewed as, and especially for the overall health of boxing? Because let's be real, casual fans are going to say, "Oh, if it was an MMA fight, it would have been exciting." There'll be all that kind of revisionist history. So, how important do you think it is?
Thanks for coming, Bob Arum. I do appreciate you. It takes two. It takes two to make something exciting. I mean, we know what Floyd is, and you've got to push it. The reality, Marcos Maidana had no problem making a pretty entertaining fight against Floyd Mayweather. It's a challenge. We become used to Floyd being dominant, and he is such a masterful defensive fighter. It's tough. But if we look at the fighters that have had success against Floyd, Marcos Maidana, most recently, is the guy. Now, no one would mistake him for a boxing tactician. He is strong and aggressive and rough and tough, and really tries to triumph through brute force. It's not that much different than what, if I was in Conor's corner, how I would advise him to proceed on it. You know, I'm not saying he's Marcos Maidana, but I think that's the approach.
But as a TV executive who's, you know, heavily involved in boxing, how badly would you like to see a knockout in an exciting fight to help your own brand before we talk?
I think, you know, regardless, I think it will be exciting. You know, one of the things that some of the writers have brought up is, you know, Conor's got nothing to lose. When you're fighting Floyd and you're down 6 rounds to 2 after 8, at a certain point, there's some fighters who have seemed to go into cruise control. It's a little bit of ego protection and career protection. You know, at that point, there's not really much they can do. They'll ride it out. I don't see Conor going that way. You know, A, it's not his style, and B, he's got nothing to lose. He's going to go back to the UFC and be a worldwide superstar no matter what happens in this fight.
Thanks, Stephen.